Okay, so just playing here with the clone stamp tool, extending a few bits. So what I'm doing here, I have this photo that is really nice, but the thing is that I have to separate it into different grounds because you want to see parallax once the camera is going to be animated. So I'm going to duplicate this image a few different times, and for every version, every copy of it, I'm going to extract the foreground. Then for the other version, I will extract the midground. So for example, here I am extracting the foreground, so I'm getting rid of the background, and I will add the same background later, but in on another layer that's going to be behind it. So when we project this inside of Nuke, we can move this into 3D space, and we can actually see parallax and have the illusion that it is 3D, even though it's a flat 2D image. So this is definitely a super boring process, and I would say this particular case it's not that easy. It's kind of really hard to guess where those treetops end, so I'm sort of eyeballing it here. And that being said, I don't need to be like too perfect, because once I will add back the mountains behind it, I think it will blend really perfectly, so it doesn't need to be completely accurate. It would need to be more perfect though if you wanted to add, for example, clouds and stuff like that, stuff that would make the edges a lot more visible. Here it's a bit easier because we have more contrast. We have those gray light rocks in the background, so we can see a little bit more where the edge is. And maybe not in this case, but I would say that usually this is where your maybe painting skills will be important, because it's not always that easy to manipulate photos. Sometimes you actually do need to do some painting. In this particular case, there's not gonna be a lot of painting because I'm gonna get away pretty much with the photos that I have. It's gonna be mostly painting out, masking, and using the clone stamp tool. So no actually really painting. And but it can happen, you know. It's also what matte painting is all about. It's about having this huge, you know, tool set and being able to choose whatever tool suits best the task that you need to accomplish. In this case, it just happens that I have enough photos to play with. I don't need to do like crazy mountain shapes. It's quite simple. I mean, I'm not looking to do like a sci-fi world or anything, so I can get away with the photos that I have and just using the clone stamp tool and masking out a few things, cutting out. So far I would say pretty simple and straightforward process. Something else I need to mention. Usually I will always work twice the final resolution just so we have a lot of nice details. In this case, just for the sake of the demonstration, I'm not working twice the resolution because I have a pretty big Photoshop canvas, and I just want to make sure that everything is smooth and fast. And since we're not doing like crazy painting operations, it will actually probably still hold up pretty well. Working twice the resolution is just a trick, you know, to have more details basically, so everything blends nicely at the end. And it's especially efficient when you blend a lot of stuff together, when you do like a lot of Photoshop painting. But in this case, it's more masking and cutting, so actually it won't make that much of a big difference, and I'm pretty sure working in the final resolution will work perfectly fine in this case. But just be aware that it's always better to try to work twice the final resolution, if not more sometimes. I think we're almost good with the masking here. There really is not a lot of contrast between all those pixels, so unfortunately in this case we really don't have a choice but to go in with like one pixel brush and mask this by hand. But as I've said, this is the essence of what being a matte painter means. It has to be absolutely precise and photoreal, even though on the other hand it also just needs to work for the shot. If it's not broken, don't fix it. But in this case I still want to do sort of a clean job, especially since I'm pretty confident that this will work. If you're not exactly sure how the photos will look in the matte painting, then do maybe like a rough job, like I did really at the beginning when I was just erasing a few parts but not like actually doing the edge work, and see how that works. But in this case I know that this is gonna work, so I'm just doing already like the final and precise job.